Amnesty faults Gambia President Barrow on media oppression. France, United States seek to mend rift over AUKUS pact. And Taiwan seeks entry into key trade pact before China. Details of these and more after this break. I am Omoye Ogbeide. Amnesty International has accused Gambian President Adama Barrow of failing to repeal repressive laws that stifle press freedom in the country. According to its reports, the human rights group said the country had recorded more than 15 assaults on journalists in the last 4 years. President Barrow came to power in 2017 on the back of a campaign promise to right the wrongs of his predecessor Yahya Jammeh. But Amnesty says oppressive laws curtailing human rights, including the rights of freedom of expression and peaceful assembly, have not been amended. Thousands of protesters have taken part in a rally in Mali's capital Bamako to call for closer ties with Russia. The rally follows days of diplomatic tension between Paris and Bamako after Mali's interim leaders acknowledged that they were in talks with the Russian mercenary group Wagner. The Malians who took to the streets on Wednesday were supporting the transitional government. It's under pressure from France and regional group ECOWAS to hold elections in February and to renounce possible cooperation with Wagner. The march was organized by the Yere Wolo movement, which is opposed to the presence of French forces in Mali. Referring to the launch of the French military operation against jihadists in northern Mali in January 2013, its spokesperson told reporters that France and the international community have had 9 years without results, without security, without protection of people and property. Uganda is aiming to vaccinate at least 6 million people against COVID-19, which is more than 10% of its population, by the end of the year before schools can reopen. About 4.8 of these are categorized as high priority, and they include health workers, teachers, students aged 18 and above, and security personnel. The education sector will then reopen in January, except for universities and other higher education institutions, which have been cleared to reopen from November 1st. So far, 600,000 people have been fully vaccinated since the first doses arrived in March, representing just over 1% of the population. President Yoweri Museveni said there were about 2.2 million COVID-19 vaccine doses available in the country at the moment, with an estimated 10 million more expected to arrive in the coming months. And United States drug regulators have approved Pfizer booster vaccines for people over 65 if they had their last shot at least 6 months ago. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has also authorized adults at higher risk of severe illness who work in frontline jobs to get the booster jab. It means tens of millions of Americans are now eligible for their third shot. However, the boosters will need approval from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Independent panels from the CDC are holding meetings on Wednesday and Thursday and are expected to endorse the move quickly. The panel's decision will include recommendations on who qualifies as high risk and which frontline workers should be eligible. Acting FDA Commissioner Janet Woodcock said healthcare workers, teachers and daycare staff, grocery workers, and those in homeless shelters or prisons should be on that list. The FDA move is a victory for President Joe Biden, who has promised that booster vaccines will be available from this month as long as they received approval from the FDA and CDC. France and the United States have made efforts to end the war, which started last week with the announcement of the AUKUS Defense Pact between U.S., United Kingdom, and Australia. The pact cost France a deal worth $37 billion to build submarines for Australia. Paris said it found out only hours before the public announcement. The American and French presidents have now issued a joint statement saying the situation would have benefited for open consultation between allies. Joe Biden and Emmanuel Macron spoke by phone for half an hour on Wednesday. They will also meet in Europe at the end of next month. And Taiwan has filed an application to join a key Asia-Pacific trade pact just days after China submitted an application. Taiwan's chief trade negotiator, John Deng, told reporters that if China joins the CPTPP first, Taiwan's case to become a member will be at risk. This is fully obvious. Taiwan considers itself as an independent nation, but China regards it as a breakaway province. The unanimous approval of all 11 members is needed for new countries to join the pact. Japan's foreign minister told reporters that he welcomes Taiwan's application to join the pact. The CPTPP was initially created by the United States to counter China's influence, but the U.S. later pulled out under former U.S. President Donald Trump. It is one of the largest of its kind, linking the wide swath of countries across the region. And that's KUFM's news around the world. But before we go, a quick recap of the headlines. Amnesty faults Gambia President Barrow on media oppression. France, United States seek to mend rift over AUKUS pact. Taiwan seeks entry into key trade pact before China. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. KUFM's News Around the World was produced by Blessing Asekome. I am Omoyo Ogbaide saying thanks for listening. Good afternoon.
KUF